निथिलपविष्टं विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तरशत श्रीमार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जय। निथिलपविष्टं विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तरशत श्रीमार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय। निथिलपविष्टं विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तरशत श्रीमार भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। निथिलपविष्टं विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तरशत श्रीमार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जय। निथिलपविष्टं विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तरशत श्रीमार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। निथिलपविष्ट महाभागवत श्री गोरक्षरदास बाबाजी महाराज की जय। निथिलपविष्ट श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। निथिलपविष्ट वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपनु गौरीय गुरुवार्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शारद गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जय। नाम आचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल व्रज मंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदत्त गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योगमाया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्री विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर की जय। श्री सारार्थ-दार्शिनी वृत्ति की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय राधिकाय प्रियात्मने श्रीमद्भक्तिवेदान्त नारायणीति नामिने। नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकायै तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुस्तं सार्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। शृण्वतं स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तन हृदान्तस्थो ह्यभद्राणि विधुनोति सुहृत्सतम्। नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। तवैवास्मि न जीवामि त्वया विना इति विज्ञाय राधे त्वां नायमां चरणन्तिकम्। भक्त्या विहीना अपराधलक्षाय क्षिप्ताष्टकामादितरङ्गमध्ये कृपामयि त्वां शरणं प्रपन्ना वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम्। भज श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribo, Raseshwari Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Ganga Didi, and Prajumna Prabhu, Mantramurti Mataji, Madhavi Didi. Yes, all is fine here, Prajumna Prabhu. And Rup Manjari Didi, Dandavat Pranam. I just got this cool app yesterday. Look. See, I can see a countdown for all. Oops, I accidentally wrote Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj. It's supposed to be on my Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Priyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. But anyways, that's going to be, Kartik will begin in 44 days from now. Amavasya is tomorrow. Gaur Govinda Goswami Maharaj is in 2 days. Sita Thakurani is in 5 days. Lalita Devi is in 8 days. Radhashtami is in 9 days. I have all the titis like that. Jiva Goswami is in 12 days. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is in 13 days. Haridas Thakur in 2 weeks. And also Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Goswami Maharaj. Vishwarup Mahotsav is in 15 days. Oops, I missed an Akadashi here. Anyhow. Okay, so we don't have that much left in this chapter. So I'm going to just read all the translations for up to where we are. Where are we? Let me check. 34. Okay, so I'm going to read. Haribol Champak Didi. Yeah, I think we only have like less than 3,000 words to read. So we'll end early today. Actually, maybe we'll end on time when I finish reading all this. So this is chapter 23, The Brahman's Wives Blessed. The cowherd boy said, "O Ram, Ram, mighty armed one, O Krishna, chastiser of the wicked, we are being harassed by hunger, and you should do something about it." Shukadev Goswami said, "Thus entreated by the cowherd boys, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the son of Devaki, replied as follows, desiring to please certain of his devotees who were Brahmans' wives. Lord Krishna said, "Please go to the sacrificial arena where a group of Brahmins, learned in the Vedic injunctions, are now performing the Angirasa sacrifice to gain promotion to heaven. When you go there, my dear cowherd boys, simply request some food. Declare to them the name of my elder brother, the Supreme Lord Balaram, and also my name, and explain that you have been sent by us." Thus instructed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cowherd boys went there and submitted their request. They stood before the Brahmins with palms joined in supplication, and then fell flat on the ground to offer respect. They did full Dandavat pranams. See, Dandavat Patita Bhuvi. They were really hungry. Please! Falling to the ground. The cowherd boys said, "O earthly gods, please hear us. We cowherd boys are executing the orders of Krishna, and we have been sent here by Balaram. We wish all good for you. Please acknowledge our arrival." Lord Ram and Lord Achyuta are tending the cows not far from here. They are hungry and want you to give them some of your food. Therefore, O Brahmins, best of the knowers of religion, if you have faith, please give some food to them. Except during the interval between the initiation of the perform of a sacrifice and the actual sacrifice of the animal, O most pure Brahmins, it is not contaminating for even the initiated to partake of food, at least in sacrifices other than the Sotramani. The Brahmins heard the supplication from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, yet they refused. Indeed, they were full of petty desires and entangled in elaborate rituals. Though presuming themselves advanced in Vedic learning, they were actually inexperienced fools. Although the ingredients of sacrificial performance, the place, time, particular paraphernalia, mantras, rituals, priests, fires, demigods, performer, offering, and and the as yet unseen beneficial results, they are all simply aspects of his opulences. Even though they are all simply aspects of his opulences, the Brahmins saw Lord Krishna as an ordinary human because of their perverted intelligence. They failed to recognize that he is the supreme absolute truth, the directly manifest personality of Godhead, whom the material senses cannot ordinarily perceive. Thus, bewildered by their false identification with the mortal body, they did not show him proper respect. When the Brahmins failed to reply, even with a simple yes or no, O chastiser of the enemy Parikshit, the cowherd boys returned disappointed to Krishna and Ram and reported this to them. Hearing what had happened, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord of the universe, simply laughed. Then he again addressed the cowherd boys, showing them the way men act in this world. Lord Krishna said, "Tell the wives of the Brahmins that I have come here with Lord Sankarshan. They will certainly give you all the food you want, for they are most affectionate toward me, and indeed, with their intelligent and indeed, with their intelligence reside in me alone." The cowherd boys then went to the house where the Brahmins' wives were staying. There the boys saw those chaste ladies sitting, nicely decorated with fine ornaments. Bowing down to the Brahmin ladies, the boys addressed them in all humility. The cowherd boy said, "Obeisances unto you, O wives of the learned Brahmins. Kindly hear our words. We have been sent here by Lord Krishna, who is passing by not far from here. He has come a long way with the cowherd boys and Lord Balaram tending the cows. Now so some food should be given for him and his companions." The wives of the Brahmins were always eager to see Krishna, for their minds had been enchanted by descriptions of him. Thus, as soon as they heard that he had come, they became very excited. Taking along in large vessels the 4 kinds of food, full of fine tastes and aromas, all the ladies went forth to meet their beloved, just as rivers flow toward the sea. Although their husbands, brothers, sons, and other relatives forbid them from going, their hope of seeing Krishna, cultivated by extensive hearing of his transcendental qualities, won out. Along the river Yamuna, within a garden decorated with buds of ashoka trees, they caught sight of him strolling along in the company of the cowherd boys and his elder brother Balaram. And then there's this famous verse. We can recite this. Shamam hiranya pariding vanamalya barha dhatu pravala natavesham anavratang se vinyastahastamitarena dunam namabjam karnotpalala kakapola mukabjahasam. His complexion was dark blue and his garment golden, wearing a peacock feather, colored minerals, sprigs of flower buds, and a garland of forest flowers and leaves. He was dressed just like a dramatic dancer. He rested one hand upon the shoulder of a friend and with the other twirled a lotus. Lilies graced his ears, his hair hung down over his cheeks, and his lotus-like face was smiling. O ruler of men, for a long time those Brahmin ladies had heard about Krishna, their beloved, and his glories had become the constant ornaments of their ears. Indeed, their minds were always absorbed in him. Through the apertures of their eyes, they now forced him to enter within their hearts, and they embraced him within for a long time. In this way, they finally gave up the pain of separation from him, just as sages give up the anxiety of false ego by embracing their innermost consciousness. Lord Krishna, who witnesses the thoughts of all creatures, understood how those ladies had abandoned all worldly hopes and had come there simply to see him. Thus he addressed them as follows, with a smile upon his face. Lord Krishna said, "Welcome, O most fortunate ladies. Please sit down and make yourselves comfortable. What can I do for you? That you have come here to see me is most appropriate. Certainly, expert personalities who can see their own true interest render unmotivated and uninterrupted devotional service directly unto me, for I am most dear to the soul. It is only by contact with the self that one's vital breath, intelligence, mind, friends, body, wife, children, wealth, and so on are dear. Therefore, what object can possibly be more dear than one's own self? You should thus return to the sacrificial arena because your husband, the learned Brahmins, are householders and need your assistance to finish their respective sacrifices. The wives of the Brahmins replied, O Almighty One, please do not speak such cruel words. Rather, you should fulfill your promise that you always reciprocate with your devotees in kind. Now that we have attained your lotus feet, we simply wish to remain here in the forest so that we may carry upon our heads the garlands of tulsi leaves that fall from your lotus feet. We are ready to give up all material relationships. Our husbands, fathers, sons, brothers, and other relatives and friends will no longer take us back. And how could anyone else be willing to give us shelter? Therefore, since we have thrown ourselves at your lotus feet and have no other destination, please, O chastiser of enemies, grant our desire. The Supreme Personality of Godhead replied, Rest assured that your husbands will not be inimical toward you, nor will your fathers, brothers, sons, other relatives, or the general populace. I will personally advise them of this situation. The demigods will express their approval. For you to remain in my bodily association would certainly not please people in this world, nor would it be the best way for you to increase your love for me. Rather, you should fix your minds on me, and very soon you will achieve me. Did we read verse 33? Yes, we did. It is by hearing about me, seeing my deity form, meditating upon me, and chanting my names and glories that love for me develops, not by physical proximity. Therefore, please go back to your homes. Haribo and Dira Mataji and Sudevi Didi and Gargrajji. Dandavat pronouns to you three. All right, so now we're continuing on from our reading from yesterday. Shri Shuka Uvacha Ityukta Dijapatnyasta Yagyavatam Punargata Te Chana Suyavastabhi Stribhi Satram Aparayan. Srila Shukadev Goswami said, Thus instructed, the wives of the Brahmins returned to the place of sacrifice. The Brahmins did not find any fault with their wives, and together with them, they finished the sacrifice. Sārārtha-darśinī commentary by Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura. The wives of the Brahmins obeyed Sri Krishna's order and returned to their husbands, whereas the Vrajagopis, although ordered by Krishna to go home, remained in the forest to dance with him through the full moonlight night. Both the Vrajagopis and the Brahmins' wives achieved unalloyed Krishna prem. But the Vrajagopis, they didn't return when Krishna said the same thing to them. Nope. Tatraika vidhrita bhartra bhagavantam yatashrutam hridopaguhya vijaho deham karmanubandhanam. One of the ladies had been forcibly kept back by her husband. When she heard the others describe the Supreme Lord Krishna, she embraced him within her heart and gave up her material body, the basis of bondage to material activity. Commentary. The lady restrained here by her husband was especially devoted to Krishna. She gave up her material body, but she did not give up her spiritual body, which was filled with prem due to her intense love and separation from Krishna. That spiritual body was kept hidden by the Supreme Lord who manifested himself to her. And that body, which was purely spiritual and invisible to all, she quickly left that place and went to Krishna. after having given up one's husband and other objects of attachment? Is it surprising that someone also gives up the material body to meet Krishna? To show the power of Krishna Prem, Krishna's Kripa Shakti, his mercy potency, made that one lady, at the time when all the wives went to meet Krishna, give up the material body which is the cause of one's bondage to material activity, and arrange for her to meet her spiritual body. Sorry, and arrange for her to receive her spiritual body, which is one's connection with pure love of God, Prem Anubandha. Like a touchstone, she, the Kripa Shakti, transforms the other wives' material bodies that Kripa Shakti transformed the other wives' material bodies into pure spiritual bodies as well. Thus, from that day forward, the Brahman ladies had no more contact with their husbands. In this way, what is impossible for the Kripa Shakti of Krishna? One cannot say whether that one Brahman lady was superior in her bhakti to the others or not, since there is no indication given in scripture. But in any case, all of them became perfect by the mercy of Krishna as described in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Kripa Siddha Yagya Patni Vairochani Sukadaya. Those who became perfect by receiving the Lord's mercy, such as the wives of the Brahmins, the son of Virochan, Bali Maharaj, and Shukadev Goswami. Bhagavanapi Govindas Tenaivanena Gopakan Chaturvidhena Shayitva Swayam Cha Bhuje Prabhu. Govinda, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, fed the cowherd boys with that food of four varieties. Laksud, wait, what is it? Chewed, licked, sucked, and drunk. Then the all-powerful Lord himself partook of the preparations. As Krishna is Bhagavan, the possessor of all powers, in front of him the Brahman lady gave up her material body. Unseen by others, she met Govinda in her spiritual body, and then experienced unlimited pleasure with her transcendental senses. That is the significance of the word api in this verse. The food was inadequate to feed all the cowherd boys, but Almighty Krishna caused all of their bellies to be completely filled. The ka and gopakan indicates Krishna's merciful attitude toward the boys. Though Krishna had no desire to eat, he also ate to show mercy to the cowherd boys. That is the significance of Swayam Cha, he also. Krishna had no desire to eat because he was feeling remorse at having made the Brahmins' wives break their vows. Krishna felt a little guilty, yeah? Evang lila naravapur nrilokam anushilayan reme go gopa gopinam ramayan rupavakritai. Thus, the Supreme Lord, appearing like a human being to perform his pastimes, imitated the ways of human society. He enjoyed pleasing his cows, cowherd boyfriends, and cowherd girlfriends with his beauty, words, and actions. Commentary. In this way, Krishna did not directly enjoy with the wives of the Brahmins, but he did enjoy with the wives of the cowherd men. This is the intention of this verse. Lila Nara Vapu means that Krishna appeared as a human being to relish his pastimes. It indicates that because of the predominance of the Lila Shakti over Krishna's other Shaktis, such as the Satya Sankalpa Shakti, the potency to fulfill his desires, the pastime with the Brahmins' wives did not culminate in direct enjoyment. Enjoying himself with the cows, cowherdmen, and gopis, Krishna overwhelmed them with bliss by his form, words, and actions. Gopinam refers to the young gopis rather than the elderly ones with maternal affection because of the time and context of the verse. Implied here is a refutation to the opinion that prior to the Ras dance, Krishna did not enjoy with the young Braj gopis. Shukadev Goswami indicates, Krishna performed many pastimes similar to the Ras dance with the Braj gopis, but these have not been mentioned by me. The Brahmins, Atanusmritya vipraste anvatapyan kritaghasa Yad Vishvayayor Yachnam Ahanmadrividambhayo. The Brahmins then came to their senses and began to feel great remorse. They thought, "We have sinned, for we have denied the request of the two lords of the universe, who deceptively appeared as ordinary human beings." Commentary. The Brahmins remembered Krishna constantly and became repentant due to the auspicious presence of their wives. This verse speaks of their repentance. We are offenders because we have ignored the request of the Lord of the universe. What type of Lord was he? We were deceived by Krishna and Balaram, who requested food from us. Drishtva strinam bhagavati Krishne bhaktim alokikim atmanam chatayahinam anutapta vyagarhayan. Taking note of their wives' pure transcendental devotion for Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and seeing their own lack of devotion, the Brahmins felt most sorrowful and began to condemn themselves. Commentary. Though the women were their wives, the Brahmins now regarded them as their gurus, and they criticized themselves for their own lack of devotion. The Krishna bhakti, the pure devotion to Krishna of their wives, was impossible to see in ordinary society. Dhigjanma nastivrid yattad digvratam digbahukyatam Dhikulam dhik kriya daksham vimukaye tvadokshaje. The Brahmin said, "To hell with our threefold birth, our vow of celibacy, and our extensive learning. To hell with our aristocratic backgrounds and our expertise in the rituals of sacrifice. These are all condemned because we were inimical to the transcendental personality of Godhead." Commentary. The Brahmin said, "Our three births, the physical birth, the Brahminical initiation, and initiation into the performance of Vedic sacrifice, are all useless. Our vow of celibacy is useless, and our expertise in daily and occasional duties, our nitya and naimitic kriya, is all useless because we were inimical to Sri Krishna." Adhoksaj. Unang bhagavato maya yoginam api mohini Yadvayam Guravo Nrinam Swarte Mohya Mahe Dvija. The illusory potency of the Supreme Lord certainly bewilders even great mystics. What to speak of us? As Brahmins, we are supposed to be the spiritual masters of all classes of men. Yet we have been bewildered about our own real interest. Commentary. The Brahmin said, "If the yogis who practice Ashtanga Yoga also become bewildered, what can be said of us who are involved in so much karma? Although we are the spiritual masters of others, Maya has bewildered us about the real goal of our lives." Aho pashyata narinam api Krishne jagar guru duranta bhavambo vidyan mrityu pashan griha Just see the unlimited love these women have developed for Lord Krishna, the spiritual master of the entire universe. This love has broken for them the very bonds of death, their attachments to family life. Commentary. The Brahmin said, "As their husbands, fathers, or fathers-in-law, we were superficially the gurus or teachers of these women. But these women have attained perfection in Krishna consciousness, whereas we have fallen in the blind well of ignorance." That is expressed in this verse. The Brahmin said, "These women possess love for Krishna, which is impossible for us to understand. Just see the prem they are showing towards Krishna." The syllable ha and aho indicates that upon returning home, The ladies displayed ecstatic symptoms such as trembling, shedding tears, hairs standing on end, and calling out in choked voices, "O pleasure of my life! O Krishna!" The Brahmins continued, "But it is not fitting for a woman to love anyone other than her husband. Though women should regard their husbands as guru, what can one say when the Supreme Lord, who is Jagadguru, the universal teacher and spiritual master, when he appears directly before them? They have developed their love for the Guru of the universe, Krishna, and now don't have even a trace of attachment for home, husband, children, and so forth. As we no longer see those as we no longer see those attachments in them, they are our gurus." From that day on, the husbands accepted those ladies as their worshipable spiritual masters, and no longer thought of them as their wives or property. Nasam dvijati sanskaro, na nivaso guravapi, na tapo natmami mangsa, na shocham na kriya shubha. Tatapi hyuttama shloke Krishne yogeshwareshware bhaktir dridha na chasmakam samskaradi matam api. These women have never undergone the purificatory rites of the twice-born classes, nor have they lived as brahmacharis in the ashram of a spiritual master, nor have they executed austerities, speculated on the nature of the self, followed the formalities of cleanliness, or engaged in pious rituals. Nevertheless, they have firm devotion for Lord Krishna, whose glories are chanted by the exalted hymns of the Vedas, and who is the supreme master of all masters of mystic power. We, on the other hand, have no such devotion for the Lord, although we have executed all these processes. Commentary. The Brahman said, "We cannot understand how our wives have developed such extraordinary love for Krishna." That is the intention of this verse. The Brahmins continued, "They did not perform upanaya sanskar, live as brahmacharis in a guru's ashram, perform austerities, meditate on the soul, or execute auspicious rites. The cause of their love is none other than Krishna, the supreme master of all masters of mystic power." The cause of their wives' loving devotion to Krishna was hearing about the form, qualities, and activities of Krishna from the flower ladies and other women of Braj. But the Brahmins did not mention this because they were unaware of it. This is Shukadev Goswami's intention here. The power of hearing Harikatha. Nanu swarta vimurdanam pramattanam grihe haya aho nasmarayam asa gopavakyai satam gati. Indeed, infatuated as we are with our household affairs, we have deviated completely from the real aim of our life. But now just see how the Lord, through the words of these simple cowherd boys, has reminded us of the ultimate destination of all true transcendentalists. Commentary. What mercy the Lord shows, and what selfishness we have. That is what the Brahmins express in this verse. Anyata purnakamasya kaivalada shishampate ishitavyai kimasmabhir ishasyaitad vidambanam. Otherwise, why would the Supreme Controller, whose every desire is already fulfilled and who is the master of liberation and all other transcendental benedictions, enact this pretense with us, who are always to be controlled by him? Commentary. The Brahman said, as Krishna is self-satisfied and has attained fulfillment in every possible desire, what does he need from us? It cannot be anything else but an expression of his causeless mercy. By sending his friends to humbly beg food from us, he exposed our foolish arrogance. Hitvanyan bhajate yang shri padasparshashaya sakrit swatma dosha pavargena tadyachna janamohini. Hoping for the touch of his lotus feet, the goddess of fortune perpetually worships him alone, leaving aside all others and renouncing her pride and fickleness. That he begs is certainly astonishing to everyone. Commentary. Someone may reply to the Brahmins, Krishna begged rice because he was hungry, not to show mercy, and you should not say that he is self satisfied because he performs activities like herding cows for some purpose. This verse refutes these arguments. The Brahman said, the goddess of wealth gives up her natural tendency of fickleness to constantly worship Krishna. Yet that supreme master of the goddess of wealth still begs for food. People like us are certainly bewildered by such actions and cannot believe, therefore, that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Deshakala pritag dravyam mantra tantra tvijognaya devata yajamanascha kratur dharmascha yanmaya sa eva bhagavan shakshad vishnur yogeshwareshwara jato yudushvita Jato yadushvitasrinma hyapi mudha navidmahe. All the aspects of sacrifice, the auspicious place and time, the various items of paraphernalia, the Vedic hymns, the prescribed rituals, the priests and sacrificial fires, the demigods, the patron of the sacrificial offering, and the pious results obtained, all are simply manifestations of his opulences. Yet, even though we have heard that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, the Lord of all mystic controllers, had taken birth in the Yaru dynasty, we were so foolish that we could not recognize Sri Krishna to be none other than him. Commentary. The Brahman's bewilderment is further explained in these verses. Tasmai namo bhagavate Krishnaya kuntame dhase Yanmaya mohita dhiyo brahmana karma vartmasu. Let us offer our obeisances unto Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. His intelligence is never bewildered, whereas we, confused by his power of illusion, are simply wandering about on the paths of fruitive work. Commentary. Ashamed about their offense against Krishna, the Brahmins offered obeisances to the Lord. Savaina adya purusha swamaya mohitatmanam avegyatanubhavanam kshantum arhatati kramam. We were bewildered by Lord Krishna's illusory potency and thus could not understand his influence as the original personality of Godhead. Now we hope he will kindly forgive our offense. Commentary. The Brahmins, feeling very fallen, then asked forgiveness from the Lord. Iti swagam anusmritya krishne te krita helana tadrikshava vrajamatha kangsar bhita nachachalan. Thus, reflecting on the sin they had committed by neglecting Lord Krishna, they became very eager to see him. But being afraid of King Kamsa, they did not dare go to Vraj. Commentary. After realizing their offense against Krishna and finally appreciating his almighty position, why did the Brahmins not just rush to Vraj and surrender at the lotus feet of the Lord? This verse answers. At that moment, the Brahmins were bewildered by grief and guilt and were not in agreement as to the proper course of action. Thus, they did not go to the Ashoka grove to meet Sri Krishna. And even by the end of the day, although they were all in agreement, they could not go to Vraj. The word cha indicates that they tried to move but could not. Suddenly, at the same time, they all felt the presence of Kamsa. The Brahmins were afraid that Kamsa would certainly kill them if his spies reported that they had gone to Krishna. Fear of being killed, however, did not create any obstacle for their wives. Being absorbed in ecstatic Krishna consciousness, the Brahmins' wives immediately went to Krishna just as the gopis, simply to dance with the Lord. Just like as the gopis, simply to dance with the Lord, traveled in the dead of night through the forest full of ferocious animals. It should be understood that because the Brahmins were not on such an advanced platform of Krishna consciousness, the shadow of fear in their minds kept them from seeing the Lord face to face. Thus ends the commentary on the 23rd chapter of the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam for the pleasure of the devotees in accordance with the previous acharyas. Conch shell came at the perfect time. All right, so now tomorrow we will begin Govardhan Leela. Wow, exciting. Oh, and there's something, let me just check the comments 1 second. Okay, Prajumna Prabhu. Oh, Narihari Prabhu. Is that Narihari Prabhu or is that Pavatarani Mataji? Or did you already arrive in Hawaii, Narihari Prabhu? You must have already arrived in Hawaii. Dandavat pranams, Prabhu. I hope you had a smooth journey. Oh, one thing I keep on forgetting about, there is, where is it? Oh, God. Where is it? Oh, verses I need to read. Okay, so a long time ago, Indira Mataji pointed out that I forgot to read the commentary on verse 49 in chapter 14, and I forgot to read the verse and commentary for verse 50. So I'm just going to read those verses just so that we'll actually read all the Sanskrit and commentary of every single verse of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, but it's going to be totally out of context or anything. This is just a complete. So it is. Oh wait, I need to check it in here. So 1 second. Chapter 14. Let's just go there. Brahma's prayers to Lord Krishna. And what verse was it? Sorry, I'm really spaced out. It's verse 49, I think, right? Yeah. All right, maybe let's go backwards. There. Okay, so I skipped this verse from Brahma's prayers. So let's read it. Shirajovacha Brahman parod bhave Krishne iyan prema katam bhavet yo bhuta purvato keshu svarbhaveshvapi katyatam. King Parikshit said, O Brahman, how could the cowherd women have developed for Krishna, someone else's son, such unprecedented pure love that they never felt even for their own children? Please explain this. This is when Krishna took on the forms of all the cowherd boys. So in the previous chapter, chapter 13, it was said, Jokasam satokeshu sneha valabdam anvaham shanar nisima vavride yata krishne tapur bhavat. Although the inhabitants of Rajbhumi, the cowherd men and cowherd women, previously had more affection for Krishna than for their own children, now, for 1 year, their affection for their own sons continuously increased, for Krishna had now become their sons. There was no limit to the increment of their affection for their sons, who were now Krishna. Every day they found new inspiration for loving their children as much as they loved Krishna. In this way, the parents of Raj had more love for Krishna, who is the son of another, than for their own sons. Here King Parikshit asks about this. How is it that this love for Krishna, appearing as their own sons, was not manifested before the pastime of bewildering Brahma? Usually parents have more love for their own children, even if others' children have better qualities. What was the cause of this contradiction to normal experience? And then I accidentally skipped this verse as well, so we'll just read this verse and then we'll be finished for today. Shri Shuka Uvacha Sarvesham api bhutanam nripasat swatmaiva vallabha itare patyavitadyas tarvalabhatayaivahi. Shri Shukadev Goswami said, O king, for every created being, the dearmost thing is certainly his own self. The dearness of everything else, children, wealth, and so on, is due only to the dearness of the self. Commentary. In 5 verses 50 to 54, Shukadev Goswami explains, O king, in this material world it is seen that the natural tendency is to love oneself more than one's children or other persons. To love oneself more than one's children or other persons one may claim as one's own. By understanding this, one will come to understand the final truth. The word Vallabha, dearmost, means, according to material vision, the object of great love. That love is different for each different body, as is affirmed here by the word itare, others. Okay, so now we'll have read all the verses and all the commentaries. Yeah, I'm really happy that Indira Mataji found that. Otherwise, we would have not completed everything. Okay, so tomorrow the Vrajvasis will worship Govardhan Hill. And then Krishna lifts Govardhan Hill. And then wonderful Krishna, Lord Indra and Mother Surabhi offers prayers. And so I guess that's the next 4 chapters will be this Govardhan Lila. All right. And let's see. That's okay, cool. Okay, Bhavatarani Mataji watching from Gopinath Bhavan, but Nrihari Varu is also watching it from Honolulu. We were speaking on the phone waiting for your class right before your class. Oh, cool. Like yogis that can communicate by mystic powers, covering long distances by the power of the internet, we can have Sangha to hear this wonderful Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Yes. All right, everybody. Dandavat pranams. See you all tomorrow. Jai Shri Radhe. Oh, wait, I have to do Chadwani. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Sorry. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Shri Guru Garanga Gandhar Vikagiri Dhari Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatarashata Shishmar Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Srila Gurudev Ki Jai Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatarashata Shishmar Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatarashata Shishmar Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Shishmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtatarashata Shishmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai Srila Gorksharas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Ṭhākura Ki Jai Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jeev Gopal Bhattadash Raghunath, Shraddha Goswami Prabhu ki jai, Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari, Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai, Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Ṭhākura ki jai, Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Kshetra Mandal, Gaura Mandal, Vraja Mandal, Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Shri Radha Kund Shama Kund ki jai, Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai, Shri Bhakti Devi ki jai, Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya ki jai, Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai, Shri Dvija Patni Gan ki jai, Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura ki jai, Shri Sārārtha-darśinī Vritti ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Sattvatai Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavad pranams everybody. See you all tomorrow. Jai Shri Radhe. Haribo. Haribo.